What's up, traders? This is Vee Trades, and today I will be taking a look at Chinese stocks once again. Every Saturday, I look at several Chinese stocks that you guys like. So let's take a look at the Chinese stocks so far. So a lot of these Chinese stocks I haven't seen in a while, so I'm going to just give you my first impressions. So JD, let's take a look at it. So it looks like, last time I looked at it was Saturday, and you can see that price since Tuesday has continued to drop down lower. So this is what the bullish case would have been right over here if price got above the EMA and continued to push up higher. So that didn't occur, obviously, because the bears are kind of strong. So it's probably working its way down to the 2850 level. That is the measure move target that I had in play. So let me go and erase that now. Since we saw a leg down right over here, and then price made two legs up, that marks the center of the pattern for another leg down. So that's what this arrow is from. This is another leg down, targeting the 2834. Price is having a hard time, going up. So this channel, this range lows could be dragged up, actually. Always adjust your lines if they fit better somewhere else. It looks like, before it was finding support here, but it looks like I can adjust it up. And now you can see that we broke outside of the range, and price is finding resistance from the bottom. Below the EMA, it's just working its way towards this measure move target. So we'll see if we can get there or not. It's looking pretty bearish for JD. We are near this support right over here at the 3156, but again, is that going to stop the momentum to the downside? Probably not. So JD looking pretty bearish. I would need to see, a huge amount of buying occur to change my mind, but it's looking like it wants to reach the mid $28 level. So that's everything I have for JD. Not much has changed, except, it didn't really play out the bullish case. Now let's take a look at the weekly chart. Here's the weekly chart. Overall, JD is extremely bearish because price has been working down since February 2021. And maybe even next year, it'll be three-year bear market anniversary. So still bearish for JD. This is not a bunch of other Chinese stocks are looking more bullish than JD. So JD not looking that good. Overall, it's in a downtrend. We're below the EMA on the weekly chart. And, it's probably going to knock out this low right here in the downtrend, because in the downtrend, price makes lower lows and lower highs. So again, lower lows is probably going to knock out the previous low to make a new low. So it's reaching for the 28, mid 28, and maybe it can finally bottom at the previous all-time low right around this $19 or $20 level. So we'll see if JD can do that. So here is PDD. Pinduoduo. So this was a new request, so I haven't even got a chance to mark it up. So I'll just do it in front of you guys right now. So I want to see at least maybe like 200 to 300 bars or whatever price action I believe will come into play. So this is, right here is enough of a data to have something drawn. So it looks like there's an uptrend channel. I don't like how, there's only one touch at the highs, but I can at least say there's probably a trend line in play. Since we're not really finding respect off the highs, we can say at least there's an upward momentum to the chart. Now, where are we going? Well, PDD is looking not that weak. It's looking pretty strong, actually. So we are finding somewhat of resistance at this prior swing high at the 104 level. So we'll see if PDD can break that. Let me go ahead and put measure move target on here. So this was one leg up right here. Price pulled back. Second leg up was met. We sold off strongly, so that tells me that if price wants to continue trending up higher, it might be in a bigger measure move target. So let's use this one right over here. Drag this over, make it more steeper, drag this over. So the target is at the 143. This looks pretty good, unless something drastically changes. This is looking pretty good to the upside. We're above the trend line, we're above the EMA, and we're making almost new highs. So I'm looking for the 144, 143 PDD looking pretty strong. If we do find resistance off this double top, it could be dragged a little bit lower, then we might just come back down and fill in this gap in the short term right over here, and we'll see if this trend line can hold if it drops down this far. So that's how I'm looking at PDD. I think obviously there could be a downward attempt by the sellers. So this is one leg down. This could be another attempt down from the sellers. Most likely not from here. It looks like the bulls are dominating the chart, at least from this viewpoint. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. Here is the weekly chart for PDD. And you can see that, this is the entire price action looks like since, 2018. So basically price bounced off the lows, almost all-time lows. It was in this downtrend, so the downtrend looks to be played out. So let me go and put a channel in the downtrend. So this was a nice fitting downtrend channel. And then you can see that price broke it. And usually we see it 2 attempts at a new low. So this was the first attempt down, this was the second attempt down, and it failed. And then price continued higher, right? Let me go and put that back. So again, so price failed to go lower. We went up higher. And now we are still working our way higher. So this is all one leg up. Price pulled back. It's in the formation of the second attempt up, probably targeting the 144, 143 level. So this chart, is more bullish than a bunch of other Chinese stocks. We're making higher highs, higher lows. We're above this trend line. If we can really knock out this 104 level, I think there's a very good chance to reach that 143. Until then, it could be staying below the 143 level and maybe bouncing off the EMA and this trend line. So we'll see how it develops. But that's all I have for PDD. Basically, in short term, I do see signs of weakness. So we could see, a retracement back down. But if the long-term momentum holds, there's a good chance it can continue pushing up higher. If the long-term momentum fails, we might see another push down, probably even a break of this trend line. But PDD looking at least pretty strong right now overall. So that's all I have for PDD on the daily and weekly charts. Let's take a look at Baidu. So here is Baidu, and unfortunately, it looks like the bulls cannot bounce from the EMA. So last time we looked at Baidu was that last week, Saturday, and the bullish case was a bounce from the EMA to, continue higher to the 155 level. It pushed right through it, so that is not showing signs of strength as of right now. What am I seeing is the second attempt to reach this measurement target. So we had one leg down right over here, and I can move it over when price started dropping down lower. So the bears are trying to reach the 112 level or the 111 level. They stopped right over here. This was all the first attempt. Now price pulled back and we're seeing the second attempt. So the second attempt could also fail and, not reach the target, and that'll be even a bullish sign, a very bullish sign. But until then, it looks like price is attempting to reach the 112 level. So all these Chinese stocks are looking pretty weak in the short term. And we'll see if the targets can be reached or not. But overall, this is not looking that bearish. We can still continue to push up higher. For Baidu, maybe not reach this measure move right now until this correction has played out. But overall, price is hitting the top of the range, is not being able to go to the bottom, so that's showing signs of strength overall. And this is still not that bad. Basically, in the short term, it is going to be probably dropping down lower, but it doesn't have to reach the target. Not all targets are met. And we might be able to find support maybe at this prior level right over here at the 117. So either way, 2 large legs down marks the center of the pattern for another large leg up. So that can also occur for Baidu. So either way, this is still looking pretty good in the long term unless something drastically changes. But in the short term, it is, showing signs of weakness. Here's a look at the weekly chart. And again, it's just a more summarized viewpoint. And you see that last week is pretty bearish. It's dropping below the EMA. It looks like we're pushing down lower. So we'll see if the measure move will be reached or not. So again, just very similar pattern, very similar chart structure. Price did break this trend line right over here. So this was a trend line, breaking it, back tested for resistance and selling off. So again, not seeing any signs of strength as right now in the short term. Long term, we'll see if the bulls can continue pushing up the price. Well, let me take a quick look at the weekly chart once again. So, and also you see that, the same principle applies for PDD, where I said price will usually make 2 attempts at a new low after a downtrend channel break. So price broke this orange downtrend channel. It made 1 attempt down. That's what this down arrow represents. Price pulled back, and we're seeing the second attempt to make a new low. So the second attempt is generally sometimes 2 attempts, not just 1. So we're seeing the second attempt of the second attempt. And hopefully that makes sense. So if this fails, which it looks like it can, because overall, we're seeing a lot of signs of strength. I think, fairly shortly, maybe, somewhere in October, maybe even November, if all else goes well for the bulls, we can probably see maybe another huge move up. That's what it's setting up to do. But we'll see if that will occur or not. Now let's take a look at Tencent, 700. And Tencent looking pretty bearish. We're below this trend line still. And the bulls cannot reach the measuring target. That's what has led to this sell-off. And price is, rolling over. We couldn't get above the EMA and stay below it. We're seeing a sell-off occur. And we're probably going to see a new low of this micro downtrend at 314 and probably the 311. That's where the strong support is at. And if that price breaks that strong support, it might fall all the way down to the 255. So this is looking pretty bearish for Tencent as of right now in the short term. Here's a look at the weekly chart. You can see the weekly chart shows that price is below the EMA for, several consecutive weeks in a row. And it really looks like it's trying to roll over to the downside. So you can see that, after this orange downtrend channel breaks, we usually get 2 attempts at a new low. And this was the first attempt down right here. This was the second attempt. And that's what led to this, formation of a possible uptrend. But you can see the bulls just basically did not continue higher that much. It was still showing bearish momentum. And once the 2 legs up occurred, that just resets the pattern for the first 2 legs just being 1 leg and the formation of another possible second leg. So this is the second attempt at it. And it looks like it's not that strong. So maybe if it bounces off this 311 level or fails to reach this measurable target, we could see a break of this trend line, break above the EMA, and possibly another large leg up of similar size as this one. So again, Chinese stocks are definitely bearish in the short term. But, there is a possibility to see a move up in the future, a strong move up. It all depends on what it wants to do at the end of the day. Now, here is TME. So TME is breaking this trend line, which is not a good sign, and it's unable to reach the opposite side of the channel. If price hits one side of the channel, it will make 2 attempts to reach the opposite side. So this was the first attempt to reach the opposite side, and this was the second attempt. And the second attempt had multiple attempts and is failing. So price is below this resistance level at the 685. We broke this trend line, and we're probably going to retrace back down to support at the 623 level. So that's why I look for TME. There was a good chance of reaching the 750. It stopped right around the 720, and then once it started breaking this trend line on Wednesday, there was a good chance it would probably continue push down lower. So right now we're below the EMA, below the 684. And it's probably going to drop down lower. Is there another possibility to see another leg up? Yes, there is actually. So if I zoom in a little bit closer, you can see that price did not reach this measure move target yet. So this was 1 leg up. This was the second leg up. And again, sometimes price will make another attempt up. So again, if this downtrend is not that strong, it could stop right over here and make another attempt up. But I mean, it could always just get rejected from this 680 level and drop down lower. So that's what it's looking like it's setting up to do, because price could not even get above the prior resistance. So more downside for TME. Weekly chart is showing prices below the EMA. And obviously, it's still within this green downward channel. And we're probably going to be retesting maybe the 620 level, possibly even lower. We're below this range, this yellow range, which was prior support. Now it's acting as resistance. So TME not looking that bullish, maybe in the long term. After this correction is over, maybe we see another leg up, like about the same size that we just did back here in December and January of this year. So until then, it looks like it's just slowly grinding its way down. Let's take a look at Huya. So Huya is, it was looking pretty bullish. But like I said before, it needs to break this trend line. So let me go and zoom out. So we have this downward trend line in play right over here. And you see that it's knocking out the swing highs. And it's just making it lower and lower. So for me to be bullish on Huya, it needs to break the 292 and get above it for support. But like I said before, if I drew this before, when I said that if price comes back up to that level, it might just get rejected and just push down lower. That's what we're seeing right now. So it's still a possibility to see another attempt up by the bulls. But again, this is showing signs of weakness. It would need to break the trend line. It needs to get above the EMA. So this is probably going to continue pushing down lower, but like a bunch of other Chinese stocks. So Huya looking bearish as well. And, we had a red week so far. And it might be coming down to retest the all-time lows at the 174, maybe even lower. There's a measure move lower at the 65 cents level or the 60 cents level. So that's the measure move target. Measure move targets aren't always reached. We'll see if we can get there. If things change, I need to see this red drawing play out. A huge push above the EMA and the 292, 290 level, or you could just say $3 level, pull back for support. That will lead to higher prices. Until then, I'll be looking for more downside, and I'll be bearish on Huya. Now let's look at CQQQ. And again, this is pretty bearish. You can see that price could not find support at this yellow range lows. So that was the expectation for the bullish case. That would show signs of strength. That did not occur. So there's a good chance it's just dropping down lower, which is what I drew right over here last week, Saturday. So we're kind of still near support, but again, this is not probably going to hold. Overall, I could probably draw a trend line off of this. Yeah, you can see that, there's a downward bias to this chart, and CQQ does have this measured move in play towards the 28.95. So we'll see if we can get there. It's not guaranteed to get there, but it's trying to do that. But if we see a large shift in momentum, again, things can change. Like I'm saying, a lot of these Chinese stocks are like kind of towards the end of their moves, meaning like towards the end of the pattern. So this downtrend pattern right over here, once we get a break of a downtrend pattern, you expect 2 attempts down. So this was 1 attempt right here. Price pulled back. This was the 2nd attempt. So this could have been a bottom for another leg up higher, but look what happened. The bulls barely went up. They just had 2 small legs. So that tells me that the first 2 legs are actually 1 leg. We're pulling back, and this is the 2nd attempt down. So again, the 2nd attempt looks like it's failing. It's really not that strong. So maybe somewhere over here, if it fails to reach the measure move lower at the 28.93, then we could probably see a huge move up. Actually, I'm going to make a more recent measure move target. This is 1 leg up, 1 leg down. Yeah, $30 level. So again, it's trying to reach the $30 level. If it fails to reach that level, we can see a huge shift in momentum towards the upside. Until then, I'm bearish. Now let's look at KWEB. Let me go ahead and show you guys this right now. So here is KWEB. And you can see that price broke this orange uptrend. So it was showing signs of strength to the upside. But now we're back below the EMA, and it looks like we're probably going to see another leg down. So this is not looking good for KWEB. Basically, since price made 2 legs down, that could have been, a huge leg up. But then the bulls made 2 legs up, 2 small legs. That just resetted the pattern for another leg down. That's what this arrow stems from. So basically, KWEB is trying to reach the $20 level. There is a lot of support in the way. So if it fails to reach that $20 level from the 26 level, can act as support, or even the 24, I mean, we can see this impulse right over here occur. So that's what I'm looking for. As long as KWEB, stays above the $24 level, this measure move target most likely won't be reached, and we can see another leg up. As right now, I'm bearish. It looks like we're going to be probably seeing the $26 level, the mid 26, and maybe even a break of it. So this is all I have for Chinese stocks this week, Saturday, and I'll probably see you guys next week, Saturday. This is Vee Trades, and thank you for your time.